So what's up, Aaron?
Not much, Donnie.
So you want to take a look at your deck tech?
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
All right. So this first card we're gonna be looking at is Quest for Ulas Temple. So what's the point of this card in the deck, and tell me about it.
Well, the quest for Ula's Temple is the beginning of the whole deck. This is what I base the whole deck around. Because at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature, you put a quest token on it. If you have three or more of them, you get to put a kraken, leviathan, octopus, or a serpent creature card from your hand into the battlefield on the beginning of each end step. So that was the basic idea for the whole deck.
All right. So do you need this in your opening hand every time?
It would really be nice to have it in your opening hand, but it's not required. Because as later in this deck tech, you'll find that we put other cards that help you scry and look for cards.
All right. All right. You want to move on to the next card?
Yeah,
All right. Next card is on the list is preordain. So why is this in here, and or is it just in here to help you set up?
preordain is a setup card. It helps you scry and then draw cards. So it helps you find either Quest for Ula's Temple or Ula's Temple, or it helps you set up your Quest for Ula's Temple to get your creatures. That way they're on the top of your deck and you're not searching for them.
Okay.
It's a
Um.
it's a good setup card. Good one drop.
So if you don't get the Quest for the Ulas Temple in your opening hand, you'll definitely, if you have a preordain, you're definitely gonna preordain for it.
Oh yeah, it's a big help.
Hmm. All right. So this next card I see is called Halimar Depth.
Yes,
Is it
it's
another setup card in your deck?
yeah, it's a good land and it's a good setup. It helps you look at the top three uh, cards in your library, and then you get to
Mhm.
put them back in any order. And it also adds one island to your mana pool when tapped. So it's a good setup and a good land card together.
So basically, if you don't get a preordain or the quest, you can get that land in your opening hand. You can drop it and then not have to worry about it most of the time.
Oh yeah. So there's many ways to set up your quest, and this
Mm,
just helps you find the cards and get it all set up for you.
mm. All right. So next, I wanted to move on to basically the basics, like your unsummon. You got your unsummons in the deck.
The reason the unsummons are in there, they're nice because a lot of the times you're going to be sitting there with no creatures out on the field because you're waiting for, Quest for Ula's Temple to bump up. So they're good for when people attack you to get rid of their creatures so you don't take as much damage.
Hmm. Okay. And I also see below this on the list you have some sleeps in the deck. Is that just basically for the same thing, just a little bit later in game?
Yeah, that's a good way to do that to prevent damage.
Hmm. And you have two Drake's Umbra in there. So what are you running them in there for?
Well, Drake's Umbra gives your creature +3/+3 and flying, so that helps deal with the flying aspect if people are running a lot of flying. It's really good to block that because
And it's a totem.
none of the creatures in this deck have flying by default.
Oh. And it's a totem armor, so if you put it on like one of your bigger creatures, it's gonna save it if it dies or something. So it
Oh
gives it.
yeah, that's a nice option too.
Hmm. All right. So you want to get on to the creatures?
Yeah, let's bring on the creatures.
All right. Let's start with your lowest one. Your one drop creature is the kraken hatchling, and why
The
it's in here.
the Kraken hatchlings are just good blockers. They're a good one drop just to help you prevent damage while you're waiting for quests for Ula's Temple to get going.
Hmm. And your other one drop you have is tideshaper mystic.
The Tideshaper Mystics are nice because you can tap it and make a target land to become an island. So that way, with the creatures with Island Walk, you can just go in there and just deal damage directly, and you ain't got to worry about nothing. And they're a good 1/1. It's just good one drop to have in your opening hand.
Hmm. And then you have serpent of the endless seas in here.
Serpent in the Sea it's not a bad card. It's good to have in there for the because by the end of the game, you're going to probably have a lot of islands, which really bumps up Serpent of the Endless Sea.
Hmm. And the next on your list is scrap diver serpents. The 5/5 for 7.
Those aren't bad. They're nice because a lot of people will run artifacts in their deck, and that is nice because it makes that unblockable. So it's this deck's more about dealing damage directly to the player.
Yeah. So, in the next card is Harbor Serpant.
The Harbor Serpents are a nice card because they have Island Walk. It helps with the theme of everything. It fits in real nice. It's a nice 5/5. Good card to have in there.
All right. So, and then we're gonna move on to some bigger creatures. We got Inkwell Leviathan.
Well, the Inkwell Leviathan's nice because it has Island Walk and it's a 7/11. It works real nice in that deck because, it has Shroud. So it's really hard to get rid of.
So basically, once you get this thing out with your ulas temple, it's no going back for the enemy.
Oh yeah, it's just straight up deal the damage and get out of there. Nothing they can do about it.
Now, if you had this card in your opening hand, would you keep it if you had the quest in your opening hand also?
Probably yes.
All right.
The only thing you got to be careful with is, sometimes you'll get screwed into having more than 7 cards in your hand, so you got to kind of watch what you keep and what you throw away.
I know what you mean there. All right. The next card is Lorthos, the Tidemaker. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, Lorthos the Tidemaker's nice because it's an 8/8, and then if you tap 8 lands, you get to untap target permanents. So it works out real nice in that deck.
You can tap up to 8 target permanents, and then
Yeah.
permanents don't untap. That's
Oh,
crazy, because then you could just tap all of their lands and overrun them.
oh yeah, and it's nice because it's basically like playing Sleep.
Yeah, it's like a big daddy of sleep.
Yeah, it's really nice. Works really well.
So you get that out a lot when you play in the deck?
Oh yeah, it's a really good thing to drop in. Drop it into the field and people really start getting mad.
I can see why.
Oh yeah.
Alright, now we're gonna go to one of your other main cards of the deck. Stormtide Leviathan.
I love Stormtide Leviathan in this deck. It's how I take basically control of the whole board. Basically, creatures without flying or without Island Walk can't attack. So that basically means you can't attack me. It's how I take control of the board and then don't ever attack with it. That way they can't destroy it unless they Doomblade it or some other way.
So basically you just put him out there as a safeguard to save your ass from everything?
Oh yeah, it's a good way to protect yourself.
Okay, so what if someone comes over and just kills your creature?
If they kill Stormtide Leviathan, I'm not too mad about it. Mainly because by that time I probably have Quest for Ula's Temple all the way bumped up, and then I just have a bunch of Island Walks. So I'll use Tideshaper Mystic and just make something an island to swarm them all in.
So, how does it run if you have multiple quests for Ulas Temple out on the field?
It is actually kind of nice, because I mean, if somebody destroys one enchantment, you have a backup, and it's nice because sometimes if you bump them both up to 3, you can drop more than one creature a turn.
That's crazy. So you're dropping like 2 big 8/8s every 2 turns or something?
Yeah, it works really well.
Wow. All right. I think that's about it, Aaron.
Oh yeah,
Thanks for coming here and showing me your deck.
no problem. Thanks, Donnie, for having me.
Oh, no problem. Maybe we'll have to get some gameplay here soon.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. See you later.
All right, bye, Donnie.